Welcome back to the Hella Inspired Show. We're here with my guy, Grant Bennett.
Yes, sir.
How you feeling?
Man, blessed and highly favored, bro.
100%.
Yeah, we at my cousin crib, man. It's Sovereign Studios, man. So I'm excited for sure.
For sure. I gotta tell this story. You never know who you standing next to. So we were at the gathering spot.
Yeah,
it was
for
me
sure.
and my mom.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
I forgot we were there. Listen.
There was it was Morgan DeBond. It was about like experiential and festival. So it was like the head of Essence Fest, Morgan DeBond, who's like a mentor to me, and Ryan Wilson, who's also like a cool dude. Like I work out with Ryan at Fourth Quarter Fitness every morning. So like
the 5 a.m.
Yeah, bro. Believe it or not, I'm in the 6:30 club, but I come to the 5:30 when I got stuff to do. And me and Ryan cool though. That's my guy. Like he's good people. But we were at that event. I was there just to rap with Morgan and to rap with Ryan. And I remember meeting you and your mom for sure. When you said that out there, I was like, oh yeah, for sure. It all clicked.
And that's crazy. We was in line. I think we was getting some food or something to drink or something. And we connected, but double back, saw what you was doing and everything. And I was like, I had to tag you.
Yeah, for sure, bro. Yeah, man.
Sure.
That's a blessing, bro.
That part. So let's get into it. So you a military kid.
100%, bro.
Me too. Both of my parents, they met in the military.
Okay, what base were they stationed? Or they moved around a little bit?
So they met in Maryland.
Yeah.
In like Bethesda. That's where I was born.
For sure.
And then moved around a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
So grew up in Fayetteville. Pops did 20 in the Army.
Yeah.
And my deuce was a teacher.
Yeah.
So what was that childhood like?
Yeah, man, my childhood was, man, it's probably the single most like defining experience of like anything, like in terms of like how I became and did the stuff that I do now. Like my pops, man, is like my hero. My pops, like you said, man, did 20 years in the military. He has this really infectious energy about him, about how to approach life, how to win, how to compete, how to navigate the world, not only as a black man, but as a person of consequence. And I think him being in the military obviously helped us establish discipline as a family. He was smart enough to know that having some consistency would be good for us. So we were blessed enough to stop moving around the time I started school. So I stayed in Fayetteville, unlike most of my friends in the military, like pre-K all the way through high school. You know, my pops made sacrifices in his career to not maybe, level up in rank and stuff like that, just so we could stay in Fayetteville. So I'm always appreciative of that. And I watched my pops coach baseball he's still coaching baseball for 30 years now. And really mentor and bring in a lot of, young people who, otherwise didn't have, the means or access to kind of play sports at a high level. And he just gave me the battery, to think more about my life. And then my mom, man, she's my everything. Like, she's my heart, man. My mom, like you said, man, she's an educator. So school was always at the forefront of everything, man. She was, she's also super competitive. She, went to Winthrop and played basketball there. So like both of my parents were athletes. Both of my parents instilled the values of family and the idea that we need to work hard and the idea that we need to work smart to me and all of my siblings, man. So like, yeah, my parents in my childhood, man, growing up with an older brother, older sister, younger sister, like, being a middle child just allowed for me to kind of flourish and get the best of both worlds, man, when it came to both of my parents and obviously like all of my family.
That's what's up.
Yeah, for sure.
So I know for young people, your environment can mean a lot. Even having a strong household, when you get out into the world and you start getting influenced by different things, your environment can mean a lot. So what was that environment like once you got outside?
Yeah, man. Man, the Ville is a crazy place. Fayetteville, North Carolina is like, it's one of one to me. And I think that, there's a lot of violence. There's a lot of I can sit here and talk about all the negative stuff, but I can sit here and I really want to focus on the beautiful things about where I'm from. Like, super diverse community. Like, I knew a person that came from like every walk of life by the time I graduated high school, which I think like transcended my business acumen. It transcended how I connect with people and like the empathy that I have for the world. Fayetteville has this like bed of talent because you got all these different people from all these different places because of the military that are now dropped into this, smaller rural area. And like, from athletics to music to like agriculture, bro, to like just anything that you can think of. I think I had friends who were just as talented, if not more talented, than like people from like bigger cities. And I think when it comes to, you know, exposure, which is I think one of the most key things about development, even though we didn't have like big buildings and like big corporations and all these different things, we had like an incredible sense of community. We had an incredible sense of pride in where we were from, and we had an incredible sense of an understanding that there was something else out there. And I think that like, even though we might not have had it like at our disposal, we were able to at least through community understand that like we could use our talents to make where we're from as fun and as cool as we possibly could. And I think that spearheaded the foundation for a lot of the stuff I ended up doing later in life.
Mm-hmm. That's what's up. Because that's the case a lot of the times. Like your community is very strong, but you may not have those resources. Mm-hmm. But once you get those resources, you hit the ground running.
Yeah, I like
you don't take advantage. I mean, you don't take it for granted.
Yeah, I mean, bro, that's the biggest thing. Like I was literally getting ready to say that. Like I like to think that not having those things early on made me super appreciative the older I got, but also it made me super creative on how to solve problems. Like if I wanted to go hoop with the homies and the gym is a mile and a half away, bro, like figuring out how to get a ride. Like the idea of an excuse to not do what you wanted to do is kind of eliminated when you really want to do it. And like now that I'm older and I have more resources and I'm able to, you know, help other people with that, it's like that creativity, the thing that I'm able to really pull from those experiences comes from that. Like I know I don't have the means to do this thing, but I can figure it out. And I think that's like one of the coolest parts about growing up in the Ville is you get that, and you can take that and use that to your advantage, or you can take that and, you know, go a different route. So it just depends on how you take it.
That part. Yeah, even for me growing up, like we used to want to go hoop after school.
100%.
And it was like a 2-3 mile walk. We wasn't trying to do that every day, so we used to hop on the bus.
Hop on the bus, bro. Hop on the bus. Had the shorts under the sweatpants. Yeah, I'm already knowing. Yeah, I'm already knowing.
Man. But J. Cole is also from Fayetteville.
He is, man.
And you were in the music video.
I was early in that video, yeah, for sure.
What was that day like?
Honestly, bro, I don't remember too much about the day. I can tell you I remember meeting J. Cole, and I remember him being really tall. When I was a kid, I was like, yo, like he had a presence about himself. For sure. I remember him talking about, you know, doing well in school and listening to your parents. Mm-hmm. Like legit, like that's Cole is exactly who y'all see him like, you know, on like podcasts. Like he's really down to earth. Yeah. The biggest thing I got from that experience though, man, was I knew at that point I wanted to do something to impact the world. I was in the 6th grade at the time, and I was on 106 in Park. Like the premiere was on 106 in Park. So I went back to school the next day, and like people were like, oh, we saw you on TV. And I was in the 6th grade. So in my head is like, bro, if I can be on TV in the 6th grade, I can do anything. You know what I'm saying? And that like always has like silently been a battery pack for like a battery in my pack, just because I was like, yo, like I might not be a rapper, which I thought I could be a rapper. That obviously I never took off, but like I needed to figure out how could I make an impact in the world. And I always at that point too, like realized, and it was kind of the beginning of it, I wanted to be the best in the world at something, to where I would be recognized like as whatever that is, you know, if it's sports, if it's music. I just knew I wanted to have that kind of like impact.
100%. So later on, around like junior year, you got the chance to chop it up with him again. Yeah,
so this is peak Forest Hills Drive. There's a spot in my city called Kickback Jacks. He posts up there every once in a while, get wings with his homies. Mm-hmm. And I used to work, I used to bust tables, wash dishes at a restaurant downtown, and I got tired of eating that food because, you know, I worked there. So I went to the wing spot just kind of on my own, bro. And he was there, so I just went up to his team like, yo, I was in his music video as a kid, would love to say what's up. And he's like, yo, when he's done eating, and 5 minutes later he came grab me. He was like, yo, what's up? And told him, yo, I got an opportunity to go to A&T or Morehouse, play baseball. Like I was in your music video. So when I said Morehouse, he was just like, yo, like I just left Morehouse. I did like a little like a class at Morehouse, and I actually met one of the professors who was super dope. And like, I think you should like consider Morehouse because, bro, you probably got a lot of homies going to A&T. And I'm like, yeah, I do. It would be way easier for me just to like culturally like go. He was like, man, I would tell you to see what Atlanta's talking about because the city's like different, and it would expose you to things that otherwise you might not get those opportunities. And at the end of the day, man, it's just like if you don't like it, you can always come home. And that was the advice I kind of needed to help me actually go visit and obviously make my commitment there to play baseball. So yeah, that was a real big moment in my life.
Yeah. So first getting to Atlanta, coming from Fayetteville, touchdown Atlanta, what were you, like 18, 19?
18, bro.
18. Yeah. So what was that first experience like when you first touched down the A?
Bro, so many people.
Yeah.
It was so many black, like it was, obviously it's college, man, but, and I knew I was going to HBCU, but I didn't realize the diversity amongst our culture until I got to the AUC. Mm-hmm. That first week of school, man, it was just like we were outside, man. 2016, like on the promenade, I had a homie, Edo. He was my roommate, actually, like one of my good friends, and he had a camera, bro, like a real nice camera. He had 2 of them. Mm-hmm. So he was like, bro, you should come shoot pictures with me. So me and my boy E were like shooting pictures, bro. I still got some of them pictures on my phone, but like, because I had a camera, people were attracted, like, yo, like, flick us up. And it became a thing where I started to connect with people super fast because of a camera, bro. Like, it became like this superpower, bro. I actually got into certain clubs and like certain like social spaces just because I had a camera, bro. Some spaces that changed my life completely. So being in Atlanta at the time where like, bro, I was in Atlanta like, Migos is like booming, like Bad and Bougie dropped, like when I was in school. We had like Uzi come to campus. We had Travis Scott, like Astro World Travis Scott. We had like some of the biggest like cultural figures in the world. And I think Atlanta at the time was kind of really like on a high level turning into a cultural engine to where like it was just was a beautiful time to be in the city.
Like peak, real peak.
Yeah, 16 to, I was there from 16 to 20. So like I graduated in 2020. So like that time period being in Atlanta, bro, it was life changing, bro. And being at Morehouse in particular during that time was dope because I think that was like, and this is all pre-COVID, but that was just like a really dope era of people who came through. In particular, like the people in my class and stuff that just like, I felt inspired every day. You know what I'm saying? I know like the purpose of y'all show is just being hella inspired, but like that, when you wake up and you got a homie that's like a Julian Turner who like was on Sesame Street producing, he was the youngest person to ever produce on Sesame Street. Like I went to class with, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Homies who had like these incredible like 4.0 GPAs who come from like absolutely nothing. Dudes starting their own businesses, their own nonprofits, like seeing real money, you know what I'm saying? I think that was like, every day I woke up and say, yo, I want my slice of whatever that is. So figuring out what that purpose was and then having Atlanta to help bounce the ideas off at the highest level, I think in the Southeast, bro, it changed my life forever.
For sure. And I just think being in that environment is important. Like, yeah, school for the degree and the grades, but being in the like concentrated environment with other people who are already have been certain places where you want to go. For me personally, that turned me up.
Yeah, for sure.
It inspires me because it's like, all right, I can learn from you and then apply that to my life, and vice versa. I can teach you something and you can apply that to yours.
Yeah, bro. There's a consistency in the narrative. I think when you think about Morehouse, and I always say these two things: is one, Morehouse is the perfect place for a black boy to learn how to practice to be successful. Like I think pulling up, being, wearing suits and stuff like that, like I wasn't used to wearing it at the level we had to wear it at Morehouse, right? The way you have to go up and talk to people and introduce yourself, the way that networking works in the AUC, it was a beautiful training ground to teach me how to navigate visibility, how to navigate being a part of social circles, dealing with conflict, resolving, taking care of myself, bro, as a grown man, like being on my own. Like those are like real life skills that I still like am able to do that most colleges do, but Morehouse is being in AUC is just very specific. Being in Atlanta is very specific. The second thing I would say, bro, kind of to your point, would be at the end of the day, when I think about Morehouse, man, and I think about like my experience, I think about all of like the trials and tribulations that nobody knows that I went through when I was there. You know what I'm saying? And I think about how every day, like I had to figure something out for myself because I was kind of out here, I was the only person in my family out here, minus like my aunts and stuff, but they were raising my cousins. So it wasn't like I had like all the support maybe that like an average person would have if, their family was here. So figuring out how to like fend for myself and develop into that person, bro, I think that like, that was a huge component of everything that I had to go through too.
That's what's up. And then even where we are right now, when we were coming in, you said someone, the person who owns the studio, was DB. A big part of you coming up.
DB. There was a lot of people who saw something in me that I didn't necessarily understand or see in myself. mentors, advisors, friends, and classmates alike. So we're in Sovereign's town. So like Sovereign is like, this is like basically an extension of my home in Atlanta. I was 19 when I met Deshaun. His last name is Bennett too. So we just off GP of meeting each other like cousin. Like that's just like we cousins.
Yeah.
And I was in a space where I really needed obviously mentorship, but like really specific like development. And I think DB was a person that I was able to see early on in my life that graduated with got an Ivy League degree. He pledged Alpha, which I ended up pledging Alpha. He worked at a corporate tech company. He was working remote pre-2020, right? And he was building his studio. He was building these businesses and brands. And I just never saw him like live through the lens of one of his identities. He lived through all of them. And I felt like, if you know anything about me now, I really pride myself on being multidimensional, and like seeing that practiced and modeled in real life and having a person I could like connect with consistently around how to get to that point, it changed my life, bro. And DB, bro, me and my homies was at his crib 3-4 times a week, bro, in college, like an insane amount, right?
Yeah.
But bro just took his time in terms of how he went about talking to us, how he went about the development of like how we can get from point A to point B, but most importantly, just showing us what like real brotherhood looks like. And I wouldn't be here or doing half the things that you might, ask me questions about if I didn't see that model and if I didn't have a person that actually walked me through step by step how to do that and just show me love in a space where, I think we went to Morehouse partially because I wanted that type of love, you know what I'm saying, and that type of, tutelage that maybe my city couldn't provide, or like maybe my pops couldn't even provide. So like, DB changed my life, man, and being in the studio, like having it felt right just to do it here at his spot for sure.
Yeah, and like I was saying, all it takes is one person, because it's like you may have that battery in your back, you may have all these aspirations, but all it takes is one person to give you that resource or outlet, and it's over with.
Yeah, bro. My boy Vic Blends always says like, Vic always says something about like being a flower, but if you're not getting the right sunlight, the soil won't ever like flourish in the way that it needs to grow. And I feel like Morehouse was that sunlight for me. Like I had all the right tools, to do what I wanted to do, but I needed that visibility. I needed that sun. I needed that attention to help me actually take what I had, man, and make it something.
For sure. And I want to ask you one more question about college.
Yeah.
What album, because you said hip hop is a big part of you, what album helped get you through those 4 years?
Ooh.
I can't name one.
2016 to 2020. Mm-hmm. I can give you a few albums, but I probably could do better at giving you like the artist and the themes of the stuff I was listening to. Mm-hmm. If I'm thinking albums, like Damn for sure.
Solid.
Damn was like, I was blown away.
Yeah.
Me and my homie Kalen had a little Apple speaker that we used to hook up, bro. We used to blast that joint at LLC. I loved that first Travis Scott album.
Which one?
It's before Astro World. I think it's actually his second studio album.
The one with him like with the wings on it?
Yeah, bro. I love that album. Yeah. I can't think of the album name, but I
think Antidote is on there.
Yeah, for sure. There was a song with Kid Cudi. It was that Day and Night joint, that remix he did. I thought that joint was insane because I was a huge Cudi fan. Yeah. Cole dropped in between there. Drake dropped in between there. Honestly, bro, I was just in the culture at the time, bro, so I can't even sit here and be like, I was into it. Yeah, but I'll tell you, like, I'm really an old soul, so like I spent a lot of time in college listening to like the SOS Band. I spent a lot of time in college listening to like Earth, Wind and Fire, Frankie Beverly and May. Like I spent a lot of time listening to a lot of like older music because that's where I come from.
Gotta regulate that nervous system,
bro. It's that, and it's also there's like my comfort music. You know what I'm saying? So like an Alexander O'Neal, like there's certain artists that really like remind me of home and bring me, to your point, to that space of like peace. Yeah. That hip hop does sometimes, but like mostly it's old school R&B, old school soul. Like, and I still listen to that. I was booming that when we first pulled up. I think I was listening to like some Teddy or something like that. But yeah, bro, that's more of my speed. Yeah, that's more of my speed than like. And that got me through college more than any hip hop album. So,
like I tell everybody, Sade, that's my GOAT.
Okay,
my favorite artist. Forever.
That's hard.
And if she goes on concert, because I'm young, I wasn't able to go to any of her concerts. If she announces a tour or one show, I don't care if it's in Australia, I'm going. I need to see her before she retires fully.
Yeah, bro.
So hopefully that shit ain't already sell.
That's important, bro. But yeah, my music taste was like, I'm old school, bro. I'm old school, man. I really love SOS Band, bro. I really love like that era, that sound. That joint really is like the thing that keeps me moving, and that's been the case since I was 16, bro. If I'm being honest, since I was in high school and had my own car. You know what I'm saying? So yeah,
that's what's up. So you graduate 2020.
2020.
Obviously, COVID.
Yeah.
Comes. So when did the 2-6 project start?
If I'm being honest, bro, if this was my room, I had 5 pieces of paper on my wall with all my goals. And one of them was to start something called the 910 Foundation. I was like 16, and it essentially is like the predecessor to what the 2-6 project became. I started the paperwork for 2-6 in 2019 when I was interning at Google, and it really sparked because I had a homie who had passed away, and his light and his like aura was so like prevalent throughout our high school career that I couldn't believe that something negative happened to him. So I thought about, if something were to happen to me, did I leave my heart in the world? And at that point it was like, nah. And then it was like, okay, so what does that look like? It's like, dang, I want to do something for my city. I just got back from Africa, bro. I was getting ready to go travel the world again with Morehouse, man. I done played college baseball. I got this return offer from Google. Like, I had all these different like accomplishments, but I felt like I haven't been able to give that game to like the next generation. So I started 2-6 really with the idea of creating like an incubator for me and my homies to be able to give back however we see fit, whether it's sports camps, whether it's working with kids virtually or in person, whether it was scholarships or it was educational trips, all the things that we ended up doing. It was like, I just need to create the funnel for that. And I think 2020 presented the opportunity for me, and I feel like it was the perfect storm. It was like the perfect idea at the perfect moment, in a perfect moment in time, like with the right people. And it just kind of crystallized into, what, we consider the 2-6 project today.
100%. And in 2020, after George Floyd was murdered, did you feel a sense of pressure from the community?
Nah, not really, bro, because no one was really checking for me to do that when I came home. I had a great reputation, but I hadn't established myself yet at that point. It was more so like, one of my favorite Wale bars is like, potential just another word for you ain't done nothing. You know what I'm saying? And like, I had dumb potential, but I didn't have that vehicle to really take it. I had a convo with my homie Dennis Smith Jr. and we actually went and marched. Just FYI, Dennis plays basketball. Both of his aunts actually lived in my neighborhood. So I grew up with Dennis, hooping with Dennis, playing baseball with Dennis, and he ended up getting drafted 9th overall in 2017 to the Mavs. He was like one of my best friends, and now he had a platform. Like, this dude was in the NBA. So we went and we did a march downtown with Cole and the mayor, and it was like a real thing. And June was just kind of like, I told him like, I think I got like a plan for this, like a real like sustainable thing that we could do that like is a thing. And he's just like, bro, whatever you need, like, yeah, I got you. Support, like, let's just make it happen. And that kind of like gave me the battery pack, knowing I had bro behind me to be like, like, if I just start doing the work, we'll get the visibility, we'll get all the different resources we need. I just need to go and do it. So like, it wasn't a pressure on me. But it was more like a calling. It was more like I knew that I needed to like act on it now, and like there wasn't time to be hesitant. Like, I needed to act on it at that moment.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I know you say you had the mentorship from DB and from
bunch of people, bro.
A bunch of people in your community.
Yeah.
So what was that like like, what was that mentality of like just throwing yourself in the fire? Because you had a lot of things going on at that time.
I felt like I wanted to be heard, and like I felt like the only way people were gonna hear me is if I like start screaming, literally. Like, 2-6 was extremely intentional. I built it with like some of my best friends, with people I knew who were gonna support, whether it was like this really big thing or not. But for me, bro, I think the turning point for a lot of that was when I got a chance to actually interact with students, and I got a chance to hear like the feedback around like some of the conversations we were having. And at that point I knew, okay, like this is different. Like what we have is different. One, I'm young, I'm 22, 23. So the kids are like not that much older than me. So like we similar in that fact. But then it was also like the content, like we're talking about, and this is where some of like my college training comes in, man. We're talking about identity, art, and democracy. What does J. Cole's meaning to Fayetteville have to do with social justice? How can this inspire you to go out and do something? Like it became a much larger like conceptual play, and kids bid on it, and then we started doing more. So, you know, free basketball camps with some of my homies back home, and then it became a thing of like, oh, we're gonna do this give back. And I think the turning point for 2-6 was, and I have to give him his flowers, one of my best friends is Vic Blends. Vic has now 20 million followers across TikTok and IG.
Shout out to Planet.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Shout out to Planet, bro. I gotta make sure I'm gonna send him this. He's gonna go crazy for that.
Not to cut you off.
You good, bro.
One of my homies, Nate, he got Flawed Assets, and Vic was one of the first people he put in. He got the video up on his page still.
Bro, so, Vic, man, Vic changed the game for me because he provided that sunlight, bro, that visibility. Yo, I'm doing the work. We just gotta, somebody has to see it in order for it to go to the next level. So Vic became a catalyst through socials. Like, bro, he didn't intentionally do this, but it was just like, working with him, we went from like maybe 400 followers to like 1,500 followers in like 2 months.
Yeah.
And it's mostly local people. So now we have, you know, especially back home, bro, 1,500 followers is like solid. Like it was more than most nonprofits had. We had this really dope content engine. You had me as like a face, a young leader who people could kind of get behind. And then we had the program and substance. So it was the perfect storm. So I think when we started working with Vic, man, it really opened those doors. And then it changed my life too, because me and Vic started doing a lot more, not even on the community tip, but just like in terms of his brand and his business, and just integrating and learning about how to manage visibility. And I think Morehouse for sure was like the foundation for that. But then working with Vic, working with Dennis, them being kind of visibly some of the best in the world at what they do so young, seeing how they manage that allowed for me to take all the things that I learned and really like put that in the 2-6 project.
Can you tell me a little bit more about the Orange Street School?
100%, bro.
Yeah.
2024, my best friend, one of my best friends, man, Kobe Vance, was my high school teammate, man. He went to play 3 years at Alabama baseball, and then got drafted, played for the Oakland A's and played for the Miami Marlins organization. His pops is like my uncle, and Unc sent me a newspaper article about a building, you know, Orange Street School. I knew about Orange Street because my church is literally a block down the street from Orange Street. So I've always seen the building. I just didn't really know what it was. And they were looking to add cultural programming. I just so happened to know that the person who was over the project was head of Park and Rec. And Mr. Gibson went to my church. So I knew him. So I called him. I was like, bro, like, Mr. G, like, I would love to be part of this in any way, shape, or form. He said, come by the office. So I went by his office. He said, yo, I'm gonna have somebody give you a tour of the space. We have 3 open rooms upstairs. If y'all can come in and, you know, supply the programming and supply the equipment, like we can do a partnership and 2-6 can have its own space. Mm-hmm. We go look at it. Bro, it needed a bunch of work, and we needed to fundraise about $100,000 in like 6 months. Obviously, it just wasn't realistic at the time where we were for a business, but I didn't really care. Yeah. So I was like, yo, this is our opportunity to have a brick and mortar. Orange Street School was built in 1915. It was built by a black contractor. It was the home and the first school for black children in Fayetteville. Yeah. So like, for me, it was like, dog, I have no greater purpose in life than to provide the visibility this project needs, from a programmatic standpoint, but from a cultural standpoint in terms of like my organization, we have to like do this. Because if we don't do it, who are they gonna put in this space?
Exactly.
And it won't mean as much because they might not be able to bring what we can bring. So man, we just hit the trail, man. I got some incredible partners to help fund it. And in February 2025, we opened the doors, man, and have been doing programming. I think we've impacted over 1,000 people in that space since the first year, man. So it's a creative incubator, man. We got 2 spaces, a STEM lab and a creative lab, serves as like a lounge. We do experiential, programming out of there. We bring all of our like main programming in the Ville. Those kids come through there. But it was a risk, bro, for real. And it's something that turned into something beautiful because we weren't scared to try. And, the lab means a lot to me. We're on contract until the end of next year, and then we'll see if we re-up again, man. But the lab has been like it was heaven sent for us because it really solidified and stamped like the legitimacy, I think, of who we are as an organization, but also the potential that if you invest in young people, man, it doesn't really matter like the age. It's more about the will and the talent that is developed out the city that can really be reinvested. Like I think that's what made it special. It wasn't like these random people coming in to like take over the space. It was like kids who were from the area who built something in the area that are now reinvesting in this way. So I think that was dope.
Cause my thing, I'm tired of the same conversation like, oh, these kids, they ain't doing this, they doing this. Like, yeah, we can't agree with everything that's going on, but at the same time, who raised them? And when they were young, what programs, what stuff was available for them in their environment? If they was just roaming free and doing whatever they wanted to do and not having no type of like structure or way to express themselves outside of dumb stuff, then bro, who's really to blame?
A lot of it too, I'll say like, the narrative is the narrative. I'm not, I never try to like combat that part. I just try to live in truth and I try to embody the stuff that I believe in. And if people get behind that, then that's that. But like the reason I had to like kind of get away from thinking through that narrative, that tired narrative, is because part of the reason I started is because of it. I don't want the foundation of how I started to be the purpose of why I continue. I done proved that, okay, y'all saying kids don't do nothing. That's not true. Cool. What's next? Like once you get to that point where it's all right, I'm showing y'all what it could be, it's about, okay, how can we sustain this? How can we develop new people to continue to allow for that to flourish? But then also naturally the premise of what we do is going to shift it automatically, right? So like I think that was my mindset and still is my mindset when we talk about approaching a lot of that work, in particular to like counteracting that narrative.
For sure. And when we talk about community, one of my favorite movies, I still haven't gotten around to the book, is The Spook Who Sat by the Door.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of it before?
I have, bro. Actually, yeah.
So how do you leverage, let's say, like your corporate experience and be able to intertwine that and include the community?
Yeah, bro. I treat my corporate job and just like my life and my career like I play like sports in the league. So like when I'm picking like let's call it what college I'm gonna go to and play ball at, like Google presents like the best team. You know what I'm saying? Like it gives me the best opportunity to get on the field, learn a whole bunch, be with the best coaches, and like, okay, if I want to coach then like a little league team while I play, I'll know more than the average person because I'm playing for the best coaches. I'm on the best team. So for me, like just having access to see how business is done at the highest level, Google being the business behemoth that it is, seeing how people manage $1 million budgets and sometimes $1 billion budgets, seeing how leadership works when you're talking about managing, whether it's like a small team, let's call it 3 people, all the way to thousands of people, right? So getting that education, I always treated Google like a incredible like MBA program. Even though I went and got my MBA, it's like I treated it as like an educational tool and a space for me to leverage to get more access and more knowledge to how to effectively perfect my craft. And taking all of those things, man, that's how I've been able to really scale 2.6 because I'm seeing and doing things at the highest level in the world. Like there isn't that many companies that operate at the same level of magnitude as a Google. So it's like just taking those things, man, and putting it in the Ville. I think that's been a really dope experience, but I think too it's been one of the greatest challenges, because you're talking about a talent gap. Like, I'm working at Google, but there's a lot of like some of the best scientists in the world, some of the best people at what they do in the world. And then when you talk about taking that and trying to translate that to a smaller team in a community where not everyone has that skill set or mindset, is that's actually the challenge.
Yeah, and I feel like your superpower would be knowing how to articulate that message on both sides.
The connection, yeah, for sure. I've always had to kind of play that role, and yeah, bro, that's definitely a superpower for sure.
Emerging leaders, that's one of your main programs at the two.
It is, yeah, it is.
And 70% of the kids who go through it earn scholarships.
Yeah, they do.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. I started Emerging Leaders as a project at Morehouse College. It turned into what's now called the Maurice Washington Emerging Leaders Program, which is like a real fleshed out program. I think it's actually coming up on this last year. Yeah. It was funded, I think, maybe a couple $1 million. Like it was a like dope concept that I was like, dang, like if I can just do this back home, it might be dope. So we started that back in 2020 virtually, or 2020, yeah, it's 2020 virtually. And yeah, my team is taking it over, man. We got an incredible team of people who work on Emerging Leaders, both in Fayetteville and in Charlotte, man. And the kids are incredible. I wish I got to spend more time with them and connect with them. I'm at the point now where I'm managing so much on a high level, I don't get a chance to engage the way I want. But yeah, man, those kids, man, last year I think it was over $500,000 or like 1.5 million. I can't remember the scholarship number, but those kids was racking in. They was bringing in the bread, bro. So yeah, we got incredible kids for sure. That's an incredible team that empowered them.
So you at the level you're at now.
Yeah.
And I always talk to my friends about like mental health and trying to combat like the war against yourself, because you're gonna go through it every day for the rest of your life. So how do you kind of manage keeping doubt and anxiety out while still pursuing these big goals?
I like to keep a little doubt and anxiety, bro.
Okay.
It keeps me alert. It keeps me on my toes. I don't like to compare myself to people or compare my stuff to different businesses for the sake of doing it, but I will as a barometer to get a check or a sense of the progress that we've made and the progress that I've made as a leader when it comes to the 2-6 project. I think that mentally, man, like I'm in a position where, bro, like I'm getting ready to go get tested for like ADHD just to see, because I do have, sometimes I got attention issues. I try to eat right, I try to work out every morning. I try to build these routines that allow for me to flourish in the best way possible. But I think that if I'm being completely honest, bro, that walk for me is something I'm still walking in right now, bro. Still trying to figure a lot of that out, bro. And I'm blessed enough to have an incredible team, and I'm blessed enough to have an incredible family, bro. And it really starts actually with my girl, man. Like my girlfriend, man, she's held me down through so much. Stress, anxiety, the business of business, bro. And like that pressure I might put on myself around performing and making sure I'm showing up my very best self for the people that, I lead, bro. So I think that, as well as my faith, man, and God, I feel like those things have been like my anchors to help me kind of guide myself through those moments.
That part. Y'all gonna find y'all a solid girl, man. Find y'all a solid girl.
Yeah, man. That's if you ask me the greatest thing that's ever happened to me, the greatest thing that's ever happened to my business acumen, the greatest thing that's ever happened to to me as a human, bro, it was locking in with my girlfriend. Because it provided me with a singular focus and a singular clarity around what I want in my life.
100%.
And even more than that, it showed me what happens when you're persistent and consistent and faithful and just locked in with a person, bro. That it just eliminates a lot, and you're able to multiply your impact in your gifts through the power of partnership, bro. And like, as much as I love partnerships with like brands and all, like, bro, the greatest partnership I have obviously is with God, but like it's with my girl. Okay. And that triangle of like partnership is like game changer, bro. It changed my whole life, bro. It made me 30 times better leader, 30 times better person, bro. And yeah, that's bro, that was still to this day, it's the most important thing that I've ever locked in my life.
For sure. So look, we got to give your flowers real quick. So you've been mentioned on Forbes.
Yeah.
North Carolina Governor's Award, Obama Foundation. Like, when you think back on the younger version of you, what does that feel like?
Obviously, bro, it's kind of surreal at times because I don't read any of that. I don't even like ascribe to my accomplishments probably in a way that I probably should lean in a little bit more and like reflect. I think if I think about who I was as a young person, I'd be incredibly impressed. But I think the question I would ask is like, what did it cost and who did you help in the midst of all those things? And if I was able to tell myself obviously like the things we've done, then I probably would be super excited. But I think when I was younger, bro, the things I wanted to know, what did it take to get to that point? Like, I want those things, but like I want to know the process, because I realize as an athlete, like that's more important than getting the thing, right? Like, yo, the fact that I didn't get Obama Leaders Program 2 years straight, I got denied 2 years straight. Having a conversation with President Clinton, bro, just doing a whole bunch of work, bro, and not knowing if I'll ever get a national press release around like the lab. Like, would have loved to have it when we first dropped, but the fact it took a whole year after for the feature, it is what it is. But like, I now can sit and tell myself that process, and that to me as a leader is the thing that you can hold on to, because you can actually help people with that. Like, I can help people through what I do, but I'm at the age now where I'd rather give game and help minimize that process or make that process quicker for the next generation of leader, community organizer, Google employee, because that's how we evolve and that's how we elevate as a culture.
Definitely. And were you just involved in opening a restaurant? Ike's?
Yo, so Ike's is a pop-up smash burger experience. All we have is a flat grill.
I gotta tap in.
Yeah, bro. It's just a flat grill, bro. Me and my homies are gonna do pop-ups throughout the city with these smash burgers.
Okay.
Yeah, bro. Maybe one day it might be a restaurant, but we ain't there yet, man. We did one pop-up and it went really well, but a long way to go.
Yeah, the way y'all was pushing it looked like it was a whole store.
Yeah, man. We gotta hop back in it, man. I actually gotta call my boy and tell him like, yo, like people asking. They are asking. So I mean, I'm excited to see what's up for sure.
Definitely. And what inspires you?
It's the people in my life, my family, my parents for sure. Watching them continue to mature and taking care of themselves, but then us still as adults. Yeah, all of my siblings, like my youngest sibling's 20, she'll be 21 this year. So like grown adults, the kids and the people we connect with 2-6, like I love still, man, that's probably the thing I miss the most about my work is I don't get to be around the young people like I want to, man. But like hearing those stories, connecting with them, being able to be impactful there, it's like that's always like the source of my inspiration. And yeah, just my community, bro. Like whether it's at Google, whether it's Morehouse, whether it's, my girlfriend, like just the people I'm around, but the community I built for myself, that joint is consistently giving me inspiration to continue to walk in my light, for sure.
Definitely. And I just want to tell you, like I know in our culture, sometimes we put like athletes and different celebrities on a pedestal, but it's people like you who have put in the work and have been in these rooms and actually making direct impact to the community. So I just want to give y'all flowers and let you know that.
Bro, that means a lot, bro.
I'm getting inspired by you, and I appreciate you for pulling up.
Nah, for sure, bro. Yeah. I appreciate y'all pulling up the Sovereign Sounds. Yeah. I appreciate y'all for the time. And I started watching y'all videos like heavily over the last week just to get a perspective of what y'all do and who y'all connect with, man. And the show's hella inspiring.
That's love.
And however we can continue to do this, man, collab. Any way I can be a resource, bro, like 100%, like just let me know.
Yeah, for sure. And right there, where can they find you and everything you got going on?
For sure, man. First and foremost, man, before myself, if you haven't yet, go follow the 26 Project on Instagram at the 26 Project, TWOSIX Project. or visit our website, www.26project.com. For me, follow me on Instagram at Benny_NC. It's a link in my bio that has all my other socials, man. But yeah, man, definitely follow the 26 Project for sure.
That part. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. Appreciate y'all for tapping in. My guy.
My brother. Appreciate you, man.